Hey, it's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Talos of Tech. I've finally returned after, it's been like 8 days technically. I was gone for a week, but I didn't get home until like 11 o'clock at night last night. So I'm very excited to get back into live stream and get back to talking with you guys. Hope things have been going well. Exploding Brick, Jack Andrew, Zane, Good Bear Gaming, File, Philly. How's it going? Nice haircut. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I've been, I got a cut actually quite a while ago. Things have changed a bit, but I'm back. Vacation's over, going back to work now. Got to be making some vids on lots of different channels. You look rested. Oh, good. I'm glad I look rested because I got sick on my second day of vacation and am still coming off of that. So I may be coughing throughout this stream, but I feel well enough to make videos. I feel well enough to answer your guys' questions. Yo, long time I don't tune in. How was it? It was pretty good. I got some good perspective. But it did its purpose because by the end of it, I was ready to come back to work. I have so many ideas, so many thoughts that I had to bundle up. Got a little cold during the process, painted some houses while I was on vacation. So, had some work, had some off time, got some perspective. If you want to see what I did on vacation, obviously you can check it out over on Talos of Talks. I vlogged the trip, and the last vlog of the trip just got uploaded like a half hour ago. So, yeah, you can watch what happened on the trip over on that channel. But yeah, I'm excited to finally come back to tech. Thank you for welcoming me back. Where did you go? Spokane, Washington. Why you look washed out? That's probably just how I look, but it might be your end of the stream or whatever. Do you think you will get the 6.1-inch iPhone? Hey, thanks for welcoming me back. Glad to see Vipers in the chat. I don't know why it's 15 FPS. It says it should be fine on my end. People say you look the same. Oh, that's good. At least nothing changed. I still have some mucus in my throat. Try refreshing. I don't know. There's no button I can press. I'm streaming the same way I always stream, but I don't think I'll get the 6.1-inch LCD iPhone because that's definitely not the iPhone I want. I want the 10 Plus. I think that's the one everyone's going to be interested in. It might be worth buying the LCD iPhone just for the sake of a video, maybe not to keep, but maybe just to buy and try out. So yeah, I may try it. I'd be kind of interested to see in what colors it comes in. What something weird I just thought about while I was on this trip is that it has a single lens setup on the back. And unless Apple's willing to do the kind of Google Pixel AI blurring in the background, that means it's not going to have rear-facing portrait mode on that budget LCD model, but it has the Face ID sensors, which means will the 6.1-inch LCD iPhone have portrait mode for the front-facing camera, but not the back? Wouldn't that be kind of interesting? Maybe, or maybe they'll roll out the new AI, like you can, with a single lens camera, you can blur out the background's new portrait mode too. Maybe they're going to say that's not a dual camera exclusive anymore. Hey, iHunter's our first super chatter who said iPhone SE2 canceled, ? Sub to iHunter, always plug. Hey, thanks for the support, iHunter. Appreciate it. Maybe both. People are saying maybe both. We'll see. It would be interesting though, right? Like to have a phone that's like, yeah, in the camera app, there is the portrait mode option, but it's only on the front-facing camera. You can't do it the other way. Wouldn't that be kind of interesting? Yeah, there's some reports saying that the SE2 may have been scrapped altogether at this point. I'm starting to believe it a little bit. Not that I want that to happen. I would like there to be a new SE, but more and more reports and the evidence to say that there is an SE in the works have been shrinking. There's been less and less reports and more people saying Apple's not going through with it. We're only going to get the 3 iPhones. And with so many 3D models and renders and Apple making deals with LG and Samsung on OLED displays and we're so for sure about these 3 iPhone models, the new 10s basically, that all 3 are going to have a notch. All 3 are going to have the same size bezel all the way around. LCD model with thicker ones, but still the same size. Yeah, it's possible that the SE2 might not be happening. And that's sadly, when you're in the world of leaks and when you're in the world of rumors and you're watching tech YouTubers like me every single day, the news changes. Tomorrow it could definitely for sure be happening. Or the next day it might not be happening at all. It might be absolutely axed off. So my recommendation to you is to just probably keep expectations low. I'm going to keep expectations low for now. I'm going to go ahead and expect there will just be 3 iPhones in September, which, hey, happy July, everyone. It's only 2 months away. Really bad time to buy an iPhone, by the way. Some people are saying that the LCD iPhone will be called the iPhone 9, which I like that name better than iPhone, and that's it, because that would be very confusing because we're going to have to refer to it as 6.1-inch LCD iPhone, and that's a mouthful. I'd rather it be called 9, but that's also just weird, but I get it because it's also between 8 and 10 budget, but also notch and Face ID and no home button. You know, it'd be kind of weird. Anyway, Super Chats here. Corrupted Gaming says, "What's up, Drew? You are a great YouTuber." Thank you, and thank you for supporting us. Thank you very much. Kyle Grimmin says, "Could the Apple logo be glass for wireless charging?" Apple logo be glass for wireless charging. I don't think that's a large enough area on any product, whether it's an iPad or an iPhone, to be for wireless charging. I see the super chats. I'm just trying to give everyone a thorough answer. Good morning, Talos. If it's Monday in Sydney and now I'm really tired, too lazy to get off my bed. I understand, dude. Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Australia. And thanks for the super chat. Will you try out Jailbreak in the future if you get the chance? I've never been interested in them. There's only like a handful of features I've seen jailbreaks have that I've found interesting. Like back in the old days, there was one where you could, like, I can't even show you what it looked like anymore. But if you swiped up and got to multitasking and you had your home screen icon, you could swipe up on that and it would close all your apps. I was like, okay, yeah, that. I think that would be nice, and I would like a iOS to do that. But the troubles you have to go through to get jailbreaks to work is so extensive and so unintuitive. And all the jailbreakers I see make stuff that is neat, but it's not something I absolutely need to have. I watched everything Apple Pro's perfect iPhone 10 setup, and a lot of the jailbreak tweaks he had, I was not into. It was like, oh, you can make your apps look like they're on a cube, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine with the regular iOS if that's supported by Apple, and I know the apps are going to work on it. You know, that I'm fine with that. I have red skin under my hair because I have a skin disease known as psoriasis. It's on my hands too. It's all messed up, and it's genetic, and the medicine for it is very expensive, so it's hard to treat. But yeah, in case you were wondering what that's from, there you go. Let's see. It should be called iPhone 11 Plus, iPhone 11, and 2018 iPhone. No. I'm with you with the 11 thing. That would be easy to remember, opposed to the new 10. That's frustrating. But I know it sounds weird. The reason they can't go with the recommendation I would have is to keep numbers in the name. If you keep a number in the name, it's easier for people to remember. But it would also be very odd if in September Apple released the iPhone 9 and the iPhone 11. You know, that I get why they don't want to do that, given iPhones come out in September. That would not be good. However, in terms of naming, if you want to just ignore the obvious, that would probably be kind of inappropriate, but it would be easy to remember for the sake of naming. Yeah, I would prefer iPhone 11 Plus, iPhone 11, and iPhone 9. But I understand that would kind of throw off a lot of people and be like, Apple releases what? And it would turn into a meme. You know, it would be a meme for days, and probably they won't do that. So Stefano says, hey, it's me, Roadseller from Twitch. Hope you enjoy your vacation trip. Thank you. It's over now, by the way. But yeah, I got some perspective, got some good time away from work, and I'm ready to come back. I was ready to get back to work. So glad to be back. And thanks for all the compliments on the cut. I'm glad you guys like it. And someone donated and then retracted the message, but thanks anyway. Have you seen iFixit's video on the MacBook keyboard? I haven't seen his video on it, but I definitely know that the MacBook keyboards have debris problems. If there's any little bit of debris that gets in between, they get sticky keys, which is why I'm so glad Apple finally took long enough and actually released a free repair program. So if your MacBook keyboards get sticky keys, they'll fix them for free. That's great. I think it took them too long. They should have done that earlier, but better late than never in that situation. I'm happy that people who are frustrated with MacBook keyboards can get them fixed. I use Final Cut Pro. How many Fortnite wins do you have? Not very many, but I've got a win. But I'm not really into the game to win. I'm more in it to communicate with people while I'm streaming on Twitch. Anyway, Crustinger says, love your channel, Drew. Hope you keep it up. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat. What's going on with AirPower, says KleptoCat? There's a lot of different theories. Some theories were saying that there are patents or on the name, trademarked on the name AirPower, and that was holding up Apple's release. And others are saying there were heating problems, that AirPower Matte was getting too hot, And for the sake of safety, they delayed the release because it was getting too hot. But new reports are saying that AirPower is definitely coming out at least in September because people at Apple are confident enough in it, and it's working on it, and it's working for them enough that they're actually using AirPower on their desks. So people inside at Apple are actually using AirPower already, and they were aiming for a June release, but then problems with the because AirPower is a lot more advanced than you may think. AirPower actually has like a certain type of CPU chip in it, and a dumbed down version of iOS in it, so that it can communicate with your phone and let your phone know what the AirPods are at and what your Apple Watch is at, and communicate with the AirPower mat. And it'll be like a little computer in there, which is just an extremely, extremely intricate design for the sake of an inductive charger. Like there's $10 Qi chargers out there, yet Apple can't get this one down. But they're trying to do something really, really, excuse me, I'm still a little sick. Really, really advanced Qi charger that will be different than all the others, but still, I think a little bit overkill. I would have liked it if Apple just made a basic Qi charger that just looked like this, just ignore the Apple Watch thing. If it was just completely blank all the way across and you could just rest your iPhone on it, Apple, why couldn't you just make a basic fast charging Qi charger? I don't know. But yeah, there's been a dozen holdups with AirPower. Latest reports are still saying it'll come out in September, but they've been saying that every event, every month, they're saying it's about to come out. So I don't know what to believe. So obviously I want it to come out. If it does come out, I'll definitely get it. But yeah, there's been so many holdups with AirPower. So many. Jason Box says, this is all I have, but love the channel. More coming next live stream. Well, thank you, Jason. Joshin, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but thank you. Matthew, biggest super chatter of the day so far. Thank you very much. Says, hey, Drew, how's it going? You remember me. Here to support the channel. Hope you had a great vacation. I wanted to ask, since the Essential phone no longer continues, what will be your go-to Android? Thanks for the donation. Is it safe to say I don't really have a go-to Android? Because I don't want to go to Android. That's kind of the point. But I understand I should have an answer for, like, if I have to get an Android phone, which one would I get? Honestly, I don't have one I'm excited about. I'd probably, just for the sake of price, go with the OnePlus 6, just because it's cheap and pretty good. It's a decent phone. The Essential, the company who made the Essential phone, went bankrupt. So they canceled the sequel to the Essential phone. So they're off the table. They're not really going to continue making hardware, in case you were wondering. So my go-to Android probably would be the OnePlus 6, because I had a terrible experience with my Galaxy S9. And while that is kind of what a lot of people would think too is like the best, the most popular Android phone, go with that. I got it and I really didn't like it. The Pixel is too expensive for the features it has. So it's not worth it to me. Like, the Pixel 2 doesn't even have wireless charging. Neither does the OnePlus 6, but it is cheaper. And the Pixel's the Snapdragon 835, and it's $850, single lens camera. Like, I don't know. I can't justify the Pixel 2 anything at all. If you found some carrier deal and the Pixel 2 was like $300 or something, sure. But I'm just looking at it as retail price, and I would go with OnePlus 6. If I had to switch to Android, I'd probably get the OnePlus. I don't know much of the Huawei lineup, so maybe there's something good over there. But as of what I know, OnePlus 6 would probably be where I go to. And I'm not crazy about that phone. I really don't care for it. But that should go to show you I really don't care about Android right now either. Hopefully the Pixel 3 will be a worthy Android competitor, but by the leaks, it's not going to be good. Best camera on any smartphone. Yeah, right. Best camera on any smartphone with one lens. Then I guess Huawei P20 Pro is the best cameras on any smartphone. Anyways, did I miss one? Oh yeah, Lewis up here says, Google engineer quit because of military projects. So do you think Apple are involved in similar project? If yes, what kind of project would that be? Ooh, yeah, I know so little about that. Thanks for the donation, but I don't imagine Apple being a company to do military contracts. I can imagine Google wanting to do that. That Google sounds like the kind of company that would want to do military stuff, but Apple, I don't think so. They're so like specific in what they work on, and they don't want to stray from that. They want to focus on their vision. But Google will do 1 billion things a day, announce 100 projects, and cancel 100 projects in a day. So the idea that Google may be working on military contracts, that's not far out there. But Apple, I'd be surprised. Have you heard of a cheaper MacBook Air refresh? Lightly, not any heavy reports, Gabe. Thanks for the super chat. But all I've heard is that they might update like the CPU or something in it, maybe. And if anything, I would rather see a 12-inch MacBook get a refresh than a MacBook Air. That's on thoughts on Pixel 3 rumors besides notch/chin. Sure, the notch/chin is not the main problem with the Pixel 3 rumors, though it is funny that Google is doing what everyone said they would do and adopt the notch just like everybody else and not do anything original. The single lens camera is really bugging me because they keep insisting that they don't need more hardware. They don't need a dual lens camera, even though budget smartphones that cost like $200 now have dual cameras just to provide people more option. You know, we had that whole debate on this channel of what do you guys find more useful, ultra wide or telephoto? A lot of people say ultra wide. A lot of people say telephoto. No one said neither, though. No one was leaning toward the line of we don't need any extra options as photographers. So the question is, will Google pay off DxOMark to give them a good score? Or will Google no longer cite DxOMark for good camera reviews? And are they just going to try to, brush that off as just like, and the camera is really good. We think it's good. Okay, moving on. Because so many smartphones, even budget ones like the iPhone 7, keep in mind, the Pixel 3 comes out after the iPhone 10 Plus or 11 Plus, all the new iPhones this year. This is coming out after that. If the Pixel 3 has a single lens camera, but the iPhone 7 Plus from like 2 years running on 3 years ago has a dual camera and provides more option for people who like videoing things far away or taking pictures of things far away, and just to have more options from a photographer's point of view. Remember, excuse me, I don't think they're good at reviewing smartphone cameras. I don't think it's a fair comparison. The only reason I bring up DxOMark is because Google, in Google's eyes, having a good score on there just means you have the best camera. If DxOMark thinks you're good, you are the best. That's how they marketed their phone. So the fact that a 3-lensed smartphone has the highest score and Google's going into that game with one camera, how good can lighting and colors be? Sorry, I'm having a little coughing fit there. How was your vacation? Also, telephoto is best. Cool. You agree with me on that. Some people prefer ultra wide. Honestly, I think having both would be the best. But my vacation was good. But if you couldn't tell, I got sick. I might need to get a drink of water in a second. But the future is more lenses, more data, better quality. Yes, it's not just about being smart with your lenses. Your computer can create better imagery when it works harder, when it has more data to work with. Apple knows this. Samsung knows this. Everyone's adopting that. And the fact that Google is putting their foot down and saying, nah, one lens is good enough is just so, I don't know, just flat out arrogant. And based on the leaks, it looks like they're not going to have a dual camera. They'll probably have wireless charging. Thank God. They're pretty late on that. So anyway, how did you get ill? I was in Spokane. It's very cold there. And I'm accustomed to the 100-degree weather here in Butte County. Go up there, and I'm sleeping in a basement, and it's like 50 degrees. It is very cold. I think best smartphone camera is subjective. It's not a matter of statistically proven. That's what I don't like about DxOMark is they act like all cameras can be boiled down to a number, and they don't take into consideration what people value in a phone camera. Like DxOMark makes no mention of telephoto lens is a nicer option than no telephoto lens. They're just like, no, Pixel 2 is better because colors and lighting. These days, no one really pays attention to things like that unless you do, the side-by-side comparisons and you look really close and like, oh, this one's slightly more red than this one. Oh, this one gets colored just a little bit off. You can go into the photo editing app and just change the colors. Comparing smartphone pictures like that is so ridiculous. And 4K at 60, 1080 at 240. These are options on iPhones that are not brought up at DxOMark. They don't care about options like that. I'm saying those are options I care about. They don't take those into consideration. So whatever you prefer in a smartphone camera, if it's not about having a telephoto lens or an ultra wide lens and you just care about bokeh, you want your phone to be better at distorting images than everyone else's phone, then sure, the Pixel 2 may have the best camera for that. But if you care about 4K at 60, you care about high resolution or zooming in and telephoto lenses, it is not the best smartphone camera. It's not a statistically number proven thing. It comes down to preference. Vraj donated, thank you. I live in the city, so ultra-wide feels the best for me to get skyline shots, but I agree that both is ideal. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not saying that ultra-wide is useless. I'm just saying I think there are more applications in which telephoto is more useful. There's people recording children's plays. They're at the zoo. A little squirrel runs by the trail. This is real life applications that I've had in my life. Is I want to film this animal or I want to film this thing going on, but I can't get closer. That's more helpful. If you want a more wide angle shot, you can take panorama shots. You know, you can click and hold and do like that. That's what I want to do when I want to take an ultra wide shot. I agreed though, if we can have both, that's even better. That's great. Even more options is wonderful. But again, I've never seen someone say having neither option. I don't want ultra wide. I don't want telephoto. I just want one lens. Let's see, Imperial versus metric. I mean, we had a whole debate on this on the Twitch gaming stream last night, but basically it's like, keep in mind, guys, us as individuals don't get to decide what system we're grown up with. I grew up with Imperial. You may have grown up with metric. We didn't decide that though. That's just what we grew up with, and you're probably going to defend the thing you grew up with. So I'll defend Imperial because that's what I'm used to, and you may defend metric because that's what you're used to. It's just, don't act like because Drew doesn't use metric system, he decided that all of America grows up with Imperial. Just left or right foot. What do you prefer? What's the better foot? You know, left or right eye. Anyway, so I grew up with Imperial, so I go Imperial, but because that's what I know. Lego Studio says, I know you clearly don't like Androids, obviously, but do you think hating iPhones is becoming your identity? I'm not a hater, but I hope you keep an open mind because Android is thriving, iPhones are declining. I'd like to see some statistics for that. I appreciate the super chat, but 4 out of 5 teenagers use an iPhone. iPhones outnumber Androids in many large populated countries. Androids only outnumber iPhones in countries where they don't speak English and income is low. What I'm saying is Android is not chosen because it has more options. Android is chosen because it's cheap. And there's a lot of import tariffs on iPhones in countries where iPhones don't outnumber them. So I don't know what more of an open mind you want me to have when I'm literally trying the Android phones and I'm having a worser experience. That's not bias. That's not me saying this phone doesn't have an Apple logo, therefore it's bad. My argument is Face ID is better than Iris Unlock. Here's why. Iris Unlock can't do XYZ. Face Unlock on the S9 can't do XYZ. I don't like that when I boot up, I get 30 notifications. I don't like that the phone vibrates and gives off an alert sound at the same time. Like, I'm keeping an open mind. I'm trying out new things, but that doesn't make it better than what I currently have. Given with an anti-Apple ecosystem, I could not be doing my job. The things I do on a daily basis cannot be done on Android. It's a worse experience on Android. It would take longer. The videos I upload would not be as quick. I couldn't upload as much as I do now if I switched out of the Apple ecosystem. So I don't know why people assume I don't have an open mind. I'm willing to see the alternatives, but I'm looking at the facts. I'm trying to explain to you guys in my streams and my videos, this is factual, what the Android phones cannot do. My iPhone can do these things. That's why I prefer it. That the Androids can do some things that iPhones can't, but they're not as important to me. That's all really preference comes down to, is what features you prefer. Some people prefer customization. Some people prefer optimization. Just depends on what your daily life consists of. And in my daily life, optimization, the fact that Apple Watch helps unlock my Mac, and I can airdrop 4K at 60 footage. I can record 4K at 60 for over 5 minutes. The camera footage looks great. When I switched to vlogging with the Galaxy S9 back when I reviewed it, everyone hated it. Everyone started complaining. Drew, the video quality sucks now. Please go back to the iPhone. So like, that's not me being closed off on the section. And when I use Windows, and I use Windows pretty regularly, it crashes. It doesn't run as well. The editing apps on it are not as sophisticated or as optimized as Final Cut is on the Mac. So there's just, it's not a closed mind thing. It's a factual based thing. If Android factually in the features that I care about was getting better than Apple, I'd consider switching. They haven't yet. Would you recommend an old iMac or a PC for someone on a budget? Oh, Ian, I appreciate it, but I appreciate the super chat, but it really, really depends on the context of what you need the computer for. Obviously, if you're looking for like budget gaming, a PC is going to be better. But if you're looking for like something into video editing, I think Macs always win in the video editing realm because they have Final Cut, which means that even when you have an older computer with not as good hardware with Final Cut Pro on it, it can still edit things pretty good. Would you recommend an iPhone 10 or S9? iPhone 10, if you couldn't tell by the channel. You don't like Apple the fruit. There are mods, but they're never here. I don't know why they don't show up. There's actually like 20 different mods, but they don't always show up. I guess we need more, but then there's too many mods. Do you think getting the 8 Plus is bad by now? Just wanted your opinion because I just got my 8 Plus. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I'm not trying to guilt trip you into making you feel bad, though I would just recommend people not buy iPhones right now because it's July. We're 2 months away from a refresh. Your 8 Plus is going to be either outperformed with something of the same price in 2 months or cheaper. So that's why I would recommend don't buy a phone right now, an iPhone right now, because they're so close to being refreshed. Can you just wait a little bit longer? I know the phone you're using right now, you may not like it, you may not use it very much, or you don't care for it, but try to hold out for 2 more months and get your money's worth. That's all I recommend you guys doing. Why do you hate the Pixel so much? I see the super chats. I'll get there. What I hate about the Pixel is the hypocrisy with the Google Android idea. The idea is this is an open source operating system. Everyone can have Android. Everyone can use it. But we're also going to make software exclusive features and Android updates that come first to our phone and later to your phone. And we think that having the hardware and software built together is the best. But if that's the best, why do you let everyone use Android and tinker it to your liking? You know, you get mad and you guys say like, well, that's the carrier's fault. That's LG's fault. That's the Android skin's fault. Google allows them to do these things. And Google didn't set up parameters that said you can't mess with this part of our OS. They do it. Well, I do exactly what you guys were going to say. It's the OEM's fault. Google allows that. Apple doesn't allow that with their iPhones. Carriers always want to stuff on there. They always want to be. We want this Verizon app to be built in, and we want the Verizon name to be imprinted on the phone itself. Apple said no. If we sell our phone, it's not having that. Google did not put any gates or walls on what the OEMs could do. So they let it all go, and now you're getting the crap. It's a combination of faults. You know, it's the carrier's fault and the OEM's fault, but who allowed them to do this, right? Like, who allowed them to mess with the OS? Google encourages it. Google says you can alter the skin to you want. You can alter it all you want. But on ours is best, so you should buy ours. But also, it's just hypocritical to me. They have software exclusive to something to their phone that they could put on all Androids, but they don't because they want you to buy their hardware. And I think the hardware is expensive and underpowered. The newest Snapdragon chips come out in like March on the Galaxy S8 or 9, and they released their phone in October with the same chip. It's about to get refreshed. It's dated hardware from the get-go, not having wireless charging, not having dual camera setups, not having the best hardware, yet charging more. The Pixel 2 XL still costs more than a Galaxy S9, despite all of the hardware advantages an S9 has over a Pixel 2. Still, Pixel 2 XL costs more, and they don't support their phones as long. You get like 2 years out of support, then they're discontinued. They already stopped selling the original Pixel. It's that hadn't even been 2 years. Canceled it. Apple still sells the iPhone SE. They still sell the 6S. And they release iOS updates all the way back to the 5S. I like that. I appreciate that in a company. Google doesn't do that, so I don't appreciate it. In China, 90% of places, including big mall, grocery store, restaurant, and random street food. When do you think the US can achieve this level of adoption? I think you missed a part there. And what more can we do with mobile paying? Okay, I'm trying to piece together. Like they have mobile paying in 90% of China. What more can we? It's really on the businesses themselves, if that's what you're asking. It's really not like what can we as consumers do to encourage mobile pay in more places in our countries. It's really up to the businesses. If you own a business, please adopt it. If you're at a place that doesn't use mobile pay very much, maybe try to show them how it works, just so more people are aware that it exists. And then maybe more people will start trying it and going, wait, you can pay on your phone? That's cool. Let me try that. Like maybe just keep doing it. That's all really we can do is show businesses that we like mobile pay, so just keep using it. I think that's what you're asking, but I feel like a sentence was missing there. Thank you, Lewis. Stefano says, do you like cats? I'm not a big on pets, but yeah, I had a cat growing up, but still at my parents' house. I like my cat. Adrian says, thoughts on LG V40? Rumor says it's going to have 5 cameras. I'm curious, because 5 cameras could mean 2 on the front, 3 on the back, and that's not that insane. That's basically just a Huawei P20 Pro. But I'm curious to see what the lenses do. I don't think that's ridiculous, if that's what you're asking. When people turn it into a meme, they're going to be like, 20, 40, 1,000 cameras on the back. Yeah, you all make the same jokes. It's funny. No, if it's got 3 lenses on the back, wouldn't it be neat if someone actually did the ultra-wide, medium telephoto? If a smartphone camera did that, I'd be like, hey, that's good. But it is LG, which hasn't made the best stuff recently, so I'm not terribly excited for the V40. I don't get excited for LG phones. Their skins suck. The customer reliability sucks. Their quality control sucks. So I'm not terribly interested into it. But Lewis said, add support mobile paying after the street food. Gotcha. Yeah. I think there's really not something we can do as consumers. Businesses have to adopt those things. All we can really do is keep using it, encourage people to use it. Even if you're at a place where they don't have mobile pay, ask them if they do. Maybe that could entice them and they'll be like, oh, people are asking if they can pay with their watch. Maybe we should look into that. Maybe we should get a Square Reader or Apple Pay support here. 1,000 data points versus 3. You tell me which is better. I mean, 1,000's probably overkilling it. You can probably get enough data out of a certain number of lenses, but yes, I wouldn't buy an Apple Watch right now either. Apple Watches are getting refreshed in September as well, so don't buy one right now. Wait the next 2 months. Once again, DxOMark includes them in video. Please do some research. I know they include it, but they put it at the bottom. I know how DxOMark works. They put it at the bottom of the lists, and it's subjective. Well, they consider it not that important. Zoom and video is at the bottom of the list of like, this isn't as important. The Pixel is the best camera because what matters the most, the numbers that have the most influence on the overall score, is at the top where it says color and contrast, lighting. No one pays attention to that anymore in smartphone cameras. What people will notice is the zooming, the 4K at 60, the fact that you can record as long as you want on an iPhone. I hate that on Android, on Samsung phones. They're like, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Our CPU overheats. We can't handle it because we did a contract with Snapdragon. So we can't have better CPUs than Apple because we're in a contract. Did you watch Wild Wild Country? Thoughts on spirituality in general? Steve Jobs famously came to India to meet Neem Karoli. Sorry, I don't know these names very well. To practice meditation. I think he was quite spiritual till he passed. He always was. I don't watch anything like that. I don't have many thoughts on spirituality. But yeah, I've read the Steve Jobs biography, and yeah, I know a lot about his life and what he did. Watch the DxOMark Explained video on MKBHD's channel. Opposite version of View. I have tried iOS. It doesn't have any of the features I care about. I've tried Mac and I have a buggy experience. It's weird. But then don't buy it. Yeah, it's that simple. we all buy the things and go into the things we care about based upon what experiences we have. Like I've had terrible experiences with Windows 10, and I've just made an effort to myself. I'm not going to buy a PC ever again. Every time I buy a PC, I have a terrible, terrible experience. So if that just keeps happening, no matter how great it's been for you, well, I'm happy it went well for you. It's not that I wanted to have a terrible time. I don't buy things anticipating to be disappointed. Anytime I buy something, I'm hoping it's because it's going to do its job well. And every time I buy a PC, I have a terrible experience. So yeah, after those experiences, I'm not going to keep buying into it. I'm just going to be like, you know what? This isn't worth it anymore. I'm tired of being disappointed. And I can completely understand if someone wants to feel that way about an iPhone or a Mac. If they keep buying iPhones or you keep buying Macs and they keep getting worse and the experiences are terrible, then don't buy them. I understand that. I'd be the same way. I've bought many Androids. I've used more Android phones than iPhones, and I haven't enjoyed it. It's been a worse experience. Have you built a PC? Kind of. I've worked on them. I've taken it apart, and I don't care about that kind of thing. I'm not into the build the PC yourself, install all the drivers and stuff. I've mostly got pre-built, but I have taken apart PCs and worked on them and stuff like that. I'm not interested. It's kind of like people saying, like, Drew, you could save a lot of money if you built the PC yourself. I'm like, I could save a lot of money if I cut my own hair, but I'm not going to be good at it and I'm not going to enjoy it. So I'm willing to pay someone else to put it together for me so it looks better. I could practice for a long time and get really, really good at cutting my own hair, but I don't have that kind of free time and I don't mind paying the extra money. I'd rather just have a good haircut. I'm the same way about computers. It's like, yeah, I know I could probably learn to be really good at building PCs and I'd be really good at taking them apart. I could learn all that and I could, but I'm not going to be good at it and I'm not that interested in it based on what I've attempted doing. So I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to go ahead and pay extra for it to be done by a professional. Building a computer is very different from building Legos. It's not as simple as put bricks together. Legos don't need drivers. Spent a while on that question. Well, you're welcome to ask another one if it's interesting. Maybe I'll answer it. What time is it? For me, it is 3:28. It's actually that simple. Okay, I'm going to plug a GPU into a motherboard and ask you why the computer's not working. Because that's how Legos work. Do you have a favorite iPhone 10 case? I realized on this trip, I put on a silicone case on my trip, just so my iPhone 10's protected, but I'm used to going caseless, so I think I'm going to take this off. My silicone cases have been good, but they kind of break over time. It's already starting to develop kind of a crack. And I'm kind of like, dang it. So I enjoy the leather ones as well. I have messed with Linux a little bit. I'm not a fan either. It just seems a little more complicated than I need to be. I'm not looking for a Mac OS replacement. Like I'm looking for a YouTube replacement. YouTube does all these terrible things, but there's nothing else better, so I have to keep using it. Whereas Mac OS has been great. I'm happy with it. It's running well. I'm not looking for a replacement. I'm not like bored someday and being like, you know what? I'm going to put a different OS on my computer. That's not how I spend my days. I like my stuff to work. That's what's made me an Apple sheep. I find something that works and I keep using it. That's how it goes. Let's see. But thank you for the super chat. Use any VPN? If yes, why and what do you use? I don't. I haven't needed to use a VPN since high school. Back in high school, they blocked certain websites like YouTube, so we couldn't watch videos. So we could get VPNs and then watch them. But I don't need to use a VPN anymore. I pay my Wi-Fi bill. What was your first iPhone? Mine was the 5. I had an iPod Touch before that. Why do you prioritize wireless charging even though fast charging is way more useful? It hasn't been useful for me. I've had fast charging on phones before. I don't find it very useful. Some people, I guess, don't charge their phone when they go to sleep, which means that they're constantly throughout the day like, oh, let me get a wire. Let me get a wire. I need to find a wire real quick. Oh, it's great that it charges fast because I don't remember to charge my own phone. I'm just like, I drop it on the Qi charger. I like it because I can just pick it up. It doesn't matter that it's as inefficient. I know that wireless isn't as fast as wired. That's not the point. Wi-Fi isn't as fast as Ethernet, but it's more convenient. You can now make devices without Ethernet ports, and they work fine because, no, Wi-Fi is not faster than Ethernet, but it's more convenient. That's my argument for Qi charging. Many people work at night and don't have chargers next to their beds. Everyone sleeps at some point. Your battery life is not better than your phone's. You can go to sleep, put it on a Qi charger. I like having Qi chargers where I work. I have one on my desk right now. I just pick it up. I leave. I don't grab cable, unplug it. Time to charge. Click. I like just charging. It's that easy. It's easy. It's convenient. That's why everyone adopted Wi-Fi. That's why Apple's removing ports. That's why we're going to move to a portless future. Whether you like it or not, in the future, a lot more devices are not going to have any ports on them. Everything's going to be inductively charged. Why do you think the 10 Plus will sell more than the cheaper iPhone 10, apart from the history thing you always say? So apart from what we have always known and the way things have always gone, why do you think that? Well, you kind of have to make predictions based upon how history has gone, right? You kind of anticipate how things go based on previous experience. What we know from previous experience is Apple users don't care about cheaper options. Apple users buy into the best option, no matter how much it is. It will be the best-selling product if it is the best in the lineup. The iPhone 10 was the most expensive iPhone to ever came out, yet it still outsold the 8 and 8 Plus. Why? Because it was the best one available. Everyone wanted that one. The 8 and 8 Plus still sold well, but the more expensive option outsold every other smartphone for 2 quarters in a row. Why? Because it was the best option. That's why Apple users buy into it. And so many people are on the monthly payment thing now that the $1,000 price tag is really not that bad over the course of 24 months. So as crazy as it may sound that Apple may be releasing a $1,200 iPhone, over the course of 24 months, it's really quite doable for a lot of people. And people are turning in their old phone and getting credit back on it, and people are in the Apple upgrade program. So it's not, as crazy as it may sound to buy it outright $1,200, it's actually not that bad for a lot of people. Opinion on OnePlus giving 2 major update and 3-year security update like Pixel phones? I mean, that sounds standard. I don't think that's as good as an iPhone can get, given iPhone 5S is still getting new features and is going to be running the latest version of iOS in 2019. 6 years of updates, and things are getting faster, and they're getting new features. That's pretty great. That's why I like Apple. I appreciate that amount of support. People on the iOS 12 public beta are already saying that their older phones are way faster now and way more reliable. I think that's wonderful, and it's something you're not really getting on Android. Yes, I don't care for the OnePlus update cycle. I don't care that they release 2 smartphones a year because each one is only slightly different than the last. So it feels like nothing is a major update. I think OnePlus should make 1 update a year that's a major one, rather than the 5 and the 5T and the 6 and then the 6T. They're all just slight variations on each other, and it means you can never really get excited about anything. Like Apple's annual updates? Yeah, because they release 1 a year, like I said. Correct. Do you think the OLED screens of the 2018 iPhones will be worse due to Apple changing from Samsung to LG? I talked a lot to Viper about this because Viper is worried. He's saying he's worried that LG is making the OLED displays in the 10 Plus, so they're going to be bad. I don't think they're going to be bad because Apple doesn't allow that. LG has had bad displays because of the V30 team. Apple's had bad. Apple doesn't look at the glitchiness of the 10 Plus. They're testing these things. They have to meet a certain standard in order for Apple to choose them. They got their standard chosen, and then LG won the bid to make the 10 Plus displays. But it's also coming from a point of Apple wants to make these things cheaper. So you get mad when they're expensive, but then Apple tries to make them cheaper, and you get mad because you think LG made a bad phone. LG is not making the 10 Plus; they're making a part of the 10 Plus. And LG, in order to keep their phone at the price it's at and the design it's at, their quality control is probably not as high as Apple's. So LG has kind of the gates unleashed. Apple saying you can spend this much money on a display now. You don't have to be in the $50 box of displays you have to make for your V30s. I don't think the 10 Plus displays are going to be bad. If they are worse than the Samsung ones, it will be so slight that no one will notice. It will be some kind of slight color thing off or something. But I think they'll be good displays. Not because they're made by LG, but because Apple's the one in charge. How close are we to sponsor Telosa podcast? You mentioned that was going to happen soon. I don't know if that was happening soon. I'm not really in pursuit of that. The guys managing the tech podcast are looking in that, and I'm not really sure how close we are. I'm not updated on that. Sorry, but yeah, the hope is that we could. I'm not as into sponsored videos because Google already has ads that play before these YouTube videos. But the podcasts don't have any ads at all, so I'm okay with adding sponsors on there because the guys work really hard on that podcast, and I think they should get paid for it. So we're trying to find some sponsors on there. I think it'll happen eventually. But do you think the 11 Plus will be $1,000 and the 11 will be $900 and the 6.1 inch will be $700, highest or lowest price? I think that one sounds the most believable. The fact that Apple's going to LG for cheaper OLED displays means that they're probably trying to keep manufacturing costs down, meaning a 10 Plus will likely cost, $1,000 and the regular 10 will cost $900. I think that's what's going to happen. But I could also understand them costing more. It is Apple. You gotta be ready for that. That's always possible. iMac Pro in need of VESA mount are a small minority. How many people do you know with VESA failures on the iMac Pro? What's interesting is I sided with Snazzy on his VESA mount situation. Like, again, it's a crappy adapter. It's a crappy mount. That product's awful. It does not make the iMac Pro an awful product because it doesn't have a VESA mount attachment. It would be nice if it had one, yes, but it doesn't change my opinions on the iMac Pro. And again, yeah, that's not a lot of people. I think Apple should allow you to order an iMac Pro with that built on, just like the regular iMacs. I don't know why they decided to change it, but like what else? What other all-in-ones with this hardware are going to have a VESA mount adapter? There really isn't one. There's PCs you can build or PC custom built ones that or pre-built ones you can order and have external monitors that are VESA mounts. But anything else in the iMac Pro category that can be mounted to a wall in the way the iMac Pro was advertised it could do isn't really out there. So don't buy that VESA mount if you have an iMac Pro. It's a terrible product. AIO is not a good professional form for you. Maybe for others it works great because I don't want to have two outlets being taken up, one for the one monitor, one for the second monitor, one for the PC tower. And some people and they're professionals. They don't have a lot of spare time. They don't have time in the day to be building computers. They just want to buy it, unbox it, excuse me, plug it in, and it starts working. AIO is great for that. I'm sorry, I'm coughing. I'm yakking up a storm. What's the name of your Twitch channel? Telos of Gaming. Big surprise. I think I need to get some water, guys. Can you guys hang in for a second? I'll be right back. I need to get some water. Hang on. I got sick. Okay. I got some water. Okay. Totally agree with that. We all have all-in-ones in our office. For 40 plus employees, it's clean. Thank you, Brondo. All-in-ones can be great for a lot of people in malls especially. I noticed on my trip to Spokane, a lot of people in malls have iMacs at their little workstation stand where they manage their stuff like that. It's much easier for people who need to move stuff a lot. Don't just assume you like professional class desktops to be a certain way, and therefore any other way is wrong. And yet you call me the biased sheep. When I'm the one saying, if you should buy what's good for you, I like these things for this reasons. You might not, but you should buy what you like. And then other people come in here and say, if you don't do it the way I do it, then it's wrong. Ugh, the hypocrisy. Yeah, they poisoned my water supply. Is a MacBook better than a Razer Blade? It depends on the purpose. For gaming, no. For video editing, yes. Who uses their phones for more than 2 to 3 years? I can think of 5 people in my personal life that have used phones for over 3 years. Yeah, my sister, I never needed to get a battery replacement because I'm going to be buying new iPhones every year since I'm a tech journalist. But my sister has an iPhone 6, the smaller one. Its battery health was the worst I had ever seen it. I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys this. What's the worst battery health you guys have heard of someone having in their iPhone? Like over time, the lithium degradation gets worse and worse. The battery percentage of how bad your battery gets over time, and then it's time to service it, replace it. Okay, we got 94%, 93%. That's not bad. I've seen way worse. What's the worst battery health? Someone says 17%. Really? I doubt that. My mother had 54, 60, 67. Okay. Worst 71, 75, 85, 99, 38. I've really never seen a 38. Some people are saying 38. Dang. Before the replacement, 39. Dang. Okay, you guys have had it worse. My sister's iPhone 6 battery health was 51. 51%. Her battery didn't last an hour. But, we've been using it all these years, got it when it came out, and every single day, never updated it, never changed it. So we took it to the Apple store up in Spokane. This was very convenient and something that the Android phones don't let you do. You just walk into the store, you say, I need a battery replacement. And they say, okay, let me see your phone. Come back in 1 hour and we'll have it fixed up. Come back in 1 hour. They hand her the new phone. Battery health is at 100%, cost her $30. Phone runs great. CPU's 100%. Battery life lasts all day now. $30. Have fun taking your Note 8 to the Samsung store because there's a lot of those out there. Yeah. I'm very eager to switch to an Android phone. Where to go to the Google store to get your Pixel battery replaced. They probably won't even replace it. I looked it up. Battery replacements on Samsung Galaxies cost $80, by the way. Third-party phone repair. Yeah, I guess you got to go third-party then. Would you game on an iMac? I've won a game of Fortnite on this iMac Pro. Why would Apple make the 10 5.8 inches, but the lower end one 6-inch? Why not make them both 5.8? I don't follow their strategy here. I think the strategy is people will buy into it because people like big displays. That is a large display, and they're hoping to find a budget. This is kind of a first of its kind. It's a great question, Zach. First of its kind to say, oh, sorry, there's a super chat. I'll get into that in just a second. It's the first smartphone to go into budget but large. Usually the smaller phones are the budget phones. This one is trying to be cheaper and yet have a large display to see if people are into that market. Maybe that'll outsell the 10 Plus. John Prosser thinks so. We'll see if he's right. Anyway, Fitz Patton super chat. It says, hey, so I recently updated from the iPhone 5C to the 10. Should AI have is he saying, should I have waited for the new iPhones coming out this year? You're getting kind of close. Your iPhone 10 is only going to be current for a couple more months. I understand you were waiting a while to update. I get that, but I don't know. Maybe you can sell your 10 right before the new ones come out, depending on how good the new 10s look. Right, you gotta go to the Pixel store to install Android on your phone. 6.1 inch is very appealing to me. I like large phones, but want a cheaper phone than 1,000. There you go. Like, I think people who want cheap, smaller displays will be able to get the 8 or 8 Plus, right? Like those phones, I don't think are going to get discontinued. They'll get even cheaper than they are now. And if you want Touch ID, you don't want a notch, you want a dual camera though, and you want wireless charging and the fast CPU, iPhone 8 will be cheaper. Galaxy phones are better, 95%. If you want your argument to sound desperate and insecure, use all caps, by the way. That's the best way to make your argument sound like desperate and that like you can't get it across. You're so desperate for people to hear you. Just spam it in all caps and use 90 exclamation marks. It makes you sound really, really unintelligent. It's a good move. Brondo says, Drew, take a break. We don't want to lose you. Stress kill. I'm fine. It's coughing. I feel fine. It's just the annoying throat thing. I've actually gotten a lot better over the course of the trip. Hi, man. I've never heard your opinion on Jailbreak, but what's your view? Still, Apple just got a bit more customizable. I don't like it. It's too complicated. Even the creator of Jailbreak says it's not worth it. Got him. iPhone 10 is the best phone. I'm insecure, though. There you go. Dragon, you got it. All caps got your attention. Yeah, in a way that says this person does not have a good counter argument. If your counter argument is use all caps, you know, that's the best way to go into a conversation. It shows you that I'm not listening to the counterpoint because there is none. You're just resulting to. It was like if we're having a debate in person and your strategy was to talk louder. That's what caps lock is. It's like, yeah, you got my attention in a negative way. It's proving to me how right I am. Thanks. Had an S7 for 2 years and just got Android Oreo a couple weeks ago. Oof. That took a while. Hope it works. Hope it works good for you. My titles to my videos are in all caps, switching to lowercase now. Counter argument. Right. Let's see. Best Android phone in your opinion? Probably the OnePlus 6, and that's not saying much. I don't love the OnePlus 6. Do you think the iPhone 10 2017 will be better than the LCD phone this year? I don't think it'll be cheaper. It'll be better because it has like a dual camera, obviously, and like a higher pixel per inch and an OLED display. So in that regard, it will be better. But I'm pretty sure the 2017 10 is going to be discontinued because the new 10 or the 11 will be a better overall iPhone and it'll be cheaper. So there will be no sense in selling this thing anymore. What do you think about the Moto Z2 with the Moto mods? The mods thing is interesting, but it never really appealed to me. I like the idea of like being able to snap on accessories. That's cool, but I don't know. I'm not into Moto that much. Let's see. Great channel, but thank you. What's the funniest insult someone has ever tried to use against you in a tech argument? Funniest. That I would have to think about. I could think of best counter argument, but funniest. What could some be? I think that all caps approach is kind of funny. There's someone saying like, "Oh, I disagree with this man. I'll try to be louder and just tell him no, galaxies are better." And that's the extent of the counter argument. You know, like you're saying they retain 95% battery over 2 years. Okay, then tell me why the Note 8's batteries were dying randomly. Look it up. Note 8 shuts down unexpectedly. Maybe they're telling you it's 95% retained. I can give you a half dozen accounts that tell me their S7 dies all the time before it gets to 0%. Yeah, keep using exclamation marks. It really helps. Who's your favorite tech YouTuber? The thing is, I disagree with almost every tech YouTuber I watch with, which is kind of why I am so passionate about my tech channel, is because I feel like no one else is saying what I'm thinking. So I don't have to, luckily I don't have to repeat a lot of what people are saying because I feel like no one's saying it. But there's YouTubers I wouldn't say they're like my favorite YouTuber, but there's definitely tech channels I always watch. I always will watch anything MKBHD uploads, anything ever, everything Apple Pro. I watch everything he uploads. And oftentimes I disagree with both of them. I disagree with Marquez on stuff all the time. I disagree with everything Apple Pro on things all the time, but I do watch everything they make. We actually don't. Like in the comment section for his portless iPhone video, I really disagree with everything Apple Pro. David B here says, any luck finding a keyboard for iPad Pro? I did actually. I found a keyboard for the iPad Pro. I could show it to you here. It's a cool keyboard. I use this keyboard every day, by the way. It's on the screen. Get used to the virtual ones. That's where keyboards are going anyway. Everything's going to be touchscreen. No, I don't want physical keyboards for my iPad Pro. I'm grew up with the virtual ones. I'm used to those. I understand if you may have a pre-existing like history of using mechanical ones, but I'm not used to that. I'm used to the virtual ones, and it's free. It's built in, and it works great. I love it. My fingers hurt. But thank you for the super chat, David B. I do not recommend you get the smart keyboard from Apple. $180 for an iPad keyboard, dude, that's ridiculous. Any Bluetooth keyboard compared to any iPhone or iPad, just get one of those if you absolutely need a mechanical one. But my advice, don't get used to the mechanical ones. They're going to get rid of them soon. I don't watch any sports. I don't watch the World Cup. But anyway, thank you guys for your super chats. We've reached our hour. I've got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of content to look forward to this week. So thanks for your questions and super chats. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great evening or morning, wherever you are. Bye-bye.